Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another tier list video on the channel today. You guys might notice I have the same quarterback tier list that I had in my previous quarterback video, and that's true, but it's a different category today. Today we are going to be talking about my tier list for quarterbacks for fantasy football. So this isn't a tier list of who's the best quarterback, whatever. This is how good they're going to be for fantasy football. You guys know the rules for the tier list. On the left, we have guys that are league winners, guys that are worth a high draft pick, players that are decent, some that have some upside, players that you would probably only start if you were desperate, and then complete flops in fantasy football. This is the equivalent of the dog shit category, which I always say is my favorite. Before we get into the video, make sure to comment your opinions down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to be going down the line because some of you said my skipping around was a little bit annoying, and that's totally fine. So Sam Darnold, I would put him in, only start him if you're desperate. Now, I will say he does have a path to be relevant if, the injuries for the 49ers continue to just bite him in the ass at quarterback. He's able to start some games. I think he'll be decent, but I don't think he'll get above upside, to be honest. And if you're starting Sam Darnold at quarterback, your team's probably not contending for a championship. Let's just be real here. Geno Smith, in my opinion, is worth a high pick. And here's why. I just made a video on Friday about why I think Geno Smith is going to have another great year with the Seahawks, but you can't argue with the fact that Seattle got better at receiver with JSN. They have a better running game. He's in year 2, and he was really good last year. He was really, really good last year. So I think he's worth a high pick. I normally go by dynasty. So for dynasty, if it's a first-time draft, I might take him with the top, 4 or 5 round pick. But it all just depends on what you're doing. So I think Geno Smith is going to be a really good player in fantasy. Bailey Zappi is a flop, unfortunately. He's not going to start games, I don't think. Jordan Love, hey, he's got some upside. And the reason he's got upside is because we just don't know anything about Jordan Love. So if he's really good, you could get this could be a really good discount player for Jordan, if Jordan Love is good. We just don't know. He's going to be the starter in Green Bay, though. He did show flashes last year, so I think he does have some upside. Jaron Hall, he's not going to start this year. I don't think he's going to start this year either. And then Lamar Jackson. Do I have to say he's a league winner? Not only is he, a one-time former MVP, 1,000-yard rusher as a quarterback, but he did just sign a 5-year extension with the Ravens, so he's a good dynasty asset. And the Ravens vastly improved his receiver room in this offseason. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham. Hopefully Rashad Bateman is healthy. Lamar Jackson, I don't even need to elaborate. Lamar Jackson is that guy. Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is worth a high pick. I'm going to put him above Geno Smith. The thing with Joe Burrow is that he's not I might put him in the league winner, but he doesn't offer the rushing upside that some of these other guys do, and we'll get into that obviously, but obviously through the air he's awesome. His receiver room is great. I'm going to put him at the high point of worth a high pick just because he doesn't have that rushing upside in my opinion. CJ Stroud has some upside, I will say. He's a rookie, so maybe not for this year, but if you're thinking long-term like a dynasty league, definitely has upside. He's a second overall pick. I think that's pretty good. Brock Purdy. I'm going to go Brock Purdy in decent. Yeah, that seems. I'm being nice to Brock Purdy, so I'm not gonna say too much, but I think Brock Purdy was good last year with the 49ers, and if he can string some healthy games together, he could have some very productive games. Taysom Hill has upside, not in the way that you're thinking. He has upside in the fact that 2 or 3 games a year, he'll just score 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, catch a couple passes, and probably return a punt for a touchdown. So if you're starting him in those 2 or 3 games a year, he'll be nice, but he's not a quarterback. I want to be clear here. He's not a starting quarterback. He's not going to start very many games. But whatever. Matthew Stafford, he's decent. If he wasn't injured so much, I would put him probably in worth a high pick. But he is older, he is injured, and I think that it's just really risky. You know what I mean? If you catch Matthew Stafford at a good point in the year, though, I think he's still a good quarterback. But I just worry about the elbow, and I worry about the talent that the Rams have on offense. He's not in a good situation right now. Mac Jones, you're kind of desperate if you start Mac Jones, to be honest. Maybe he turns it around with Bill O'Brien, and maybe they land DeAndre Hopkins. But I really don't think this offense is going to be too good next year with Mac Jones, and I don't think that he's exactly going to make the Patriots contenders, if you know what I mean. Trevor Lawrence is a league winner. He's a league winner because I think he's a bit more athletic than Joe Burrow. Got Calvin Ridley got better at receiver. Has a good head coach. Actually, it's really not fair to put Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow here. I'm gonna put Trevor Lawrence like right above Joe Burrow. The reason that he is a little bit higher than Joe Burrow is just because of his age. He's few years younger, and I think he's a little bit more of a threat on the ground. Other than that, though, I think Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow I see them in very similar light, right? Mike White, you're desperate if you start Mike White. There's really no other way to put that. Sam Howell, he does have upside. I will say he does have upside. I'm gonna put him below Jordan Love. He's got upside. He's going to be the starter, I think, in Washington this year. Honestly, Washington's got some good receivers. Scary Terry's good. Curtis Samuel's good. Jahan Dotson is good. Obviously, they're getting Eric Bieniemy. I think Sam Howell does have some really good upside to be a quality starting quarterback. He's in a good situation. Um, Defense is good. The running game with Brian Robinson's not going to be probably not bad. So there you go. Sam Howell. I was a little mean to Washington fans, and they kind of blew my ass up in the comments. So I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say that your quarterback has some upside and that your offense is going to be pretty good. All right, Cooper Rush. Yeah, he's going to be a flop. He's just a backup. Same thing with Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not even going to consider Teddy Bridgewater, really. Will Levis, he does have upside as well. Not as much as Sam Howell because I think Sam Howell is guaranteed to probably play more. But Will Levis, I mean, to be completely fair, if Ryan Tannehill either stinks it up or gets injured or they just want to play Will Levis because they have nothing to play for, Will Levis probably could get some playing time. I don't think it would be crazy for him to beat out Malik Willis to be the backup. So we know Will Levis has, a shot to play, but the Titans receivers are just terrible. They're disgusting. Even if you want to give Traylon Burks the benefit of the doubt, I think that the Titans receivers, just as a whole, are just awful. I do like their tight end though, I will say, and Derrick Henry obviously helps a lot, but Will Levis will put in with some upside. Now this is a guy who I'm gonna get flamed for. I think Justin Fields is a fucking league winner. You should get Justin Fields at all costs. I'm not going to put him above Lamar because Lamar has proven more, and the Ravens also improved him in the offseason. But Justin Fields, last year, Justin Fields was electric on the ground. I mean, he's going to put up running back number. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. Like, he's going to put up running back numbers just on the ground. And I think he's going to improve as a passer. Additionally, the Bears A, improve their offensive line to give him more time. B, improve the weapons around him, notably DJ Moore. So I think he's going to be much better through the air. He was already insanely gifted on the ground. He's put up. I don't expect him to put up over 1,000 yards on the ground again, but he's got insane upside. He's probably the fastest player on the field whenever he's on the field. He's going to get better throwing the ball. I think Justin Fields is a certifiable league winner. I think the same thing for Josh Allen. That is not so much of a hot take. Josh Allen has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He is going to be a one-man army, pretty much, because the Bills' offense runs through him. And, they don't really have a good running game. I don't think James Cook is going to be a workhorse. So I think a lot of the running game is also going to run through Josh Allen. I would put Josh Allen in a league winner. I think if you get him, you're going to be pretty set at quarterback. And I think that, is there any doubt, really? All right, next, Jacoby Brissett. You're a little desperate if you start Jacoby Brissett, but he was fine in Cleveland last year. Like, if he becomes the starter in Washington over Sam Howell, I think that maybe that's fine. But you are pretty desperate if you're going into the year with Jacoby Brissett as one of your only quarterbacks, to be honest. Daniel Jones, I'm hesitant to do this because I am the resident Daniel Jones hater, but I do think he's worth a high pick. He is young. He did sign that extension with New York, and he does have a lot of upside on the ground. He was much better last year. He cut down his turnovers a lot last year, so I'll say he's worth a high pick. Him and Geno would be a battle of kind of whatever you feel. I would lean Geno, but I understand if you guys want to lead Daniel Jones as well. Kenny Pickett definitely has upside. I think the Steelers' offense got really a lot better this offseason. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens have already been there. I think they're going to get better. Najee Harris obviously is already good, but the offensive line with Broderick Jones and Darnell Wright, I know he's tiny, but he's going to block a lot. It's going to get better for Kenny Pickett. The offensive line last year was terrible for him. Obviously, I think a lot of quarterbacks make a big improvement in year 2, so I think Kenny Pickett has really good upside for this year in fantasy. Davis Mills, he's not going to play, I don't think. Gardner Minshew, you're desperate if you start Gardner Minshew because I really don't think he's going to play. He might start a few games over Anthony Richardson, But I think from what I've been hearing both in training camp and just what my brain tells me, Anthony Richardson is probably going to start the majority of games for the Colts, and we'll get into that when we get to him. Next, we have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan retired from football, so he is not on this list. Ryan Tannehill. You are kind of desperate if you start Ryan Tannehill. He really hasn't been good for a number of years now, and at this point in his career, I kind of doubt he's going to be the dominant rusher that he was years ago. Really don't love Ryan Tannehill. Will he probably start the majority of games for the Titans? Yes, but like I said, the receiver room sucks. Yeah, I don't, and he doesn't have the upside of some of these other guys. Even though he's going to start some games. Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you're also desperate if you start Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't even know if he's going to play this year because he's got the foot thing. I'm recording this a few days before, so if something happens I don't know about, sue me. But Jimmy Garoppolo really has never been that good. Not going into a good situation with his foot now, so we'll see. If there's one thing I've learned, it's just to not trust Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't trust the government and don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo are the two things I've learned in my life so far. Colt McCoy, sure, whatever. He might start some games, so I guess I could put him at like the edge of desperate, because he might start some games for Kyler while he's hurt. But whatever. Drew Lock, I'm sorry, my boy, Horsecock Lock, you're not gonna start many games. I'll put you above Tay just because you're younger. Andy Dalton is gonna be in Carolina right now. I really don't think he's gonna start games. To be honest, I think Bryce Young's gonna take all of those. Not gonna play him. Hendon Hooker for this year is not going to play, so I'm going to put him in flop. But he does have upside if Jared Goff gets hurt or down the line. Obviously, he's got upside. I think that Bryce Young is going to have a lot of upside this year. Again, with these rookies, it's just so hard. We don't know nothing about him, but we will be able to figure out what he is after this year. I think he's got some athletic ability. I think he can move around. His offensive line is actually pretty good, especially for someone who was taken first overall. His offensive line is pretty good, so we'll see. But I like Bryce Young just an upside for right now. Obviously, down the line, he'll improve. Tua, I think Tua is worth a high pick. Now, Tua, with the big thing with him is if he can stay healthy, Tua is going to be great. He's going to be fantastic. He was putting up elite numbers last year, borderline MVP shit. The health is a concern, right? The health is a concern. But I think if you want to bank on the fact that he stays healthy for 14, 15, 16, hopefully even 17 games, he's worth a high pick in your drafts. Jalen Hurts, league winner. I had Jalen Hurts, best pick I made in my first year Dynasty draft last year. He's awesome. I'm going to put him above Lamar just because of how much younger he is and how much better the Eagles' offense is around him. Offensive line's better. The receivers are better. I think Dallas Goedert and Mark Andrews are comparable. Jalen Hurts is the man. He's the man. Dak Prescott, I'm going to put below Daniel Jones. He is in a good offense, I think. CeeDee Lamb is good. Tony Pollard's going to be a good help with him. But he doesn't offer a lot of rushing, I think, that he once did. Or I don't think he will, rather, that he once did. And I would take some other guys who are in better situations, and I trust them a little bit more. Dak also is, prone to throwing some picks. So that'll deduce him a little bit. Matt Corral is not going to play this year. I'll put him like here. Russell Wilson. I am going to put Russell Wilson in decent. Now, I actually think Russell Wilson's going to be a lot better than he was last year. So if we were doing a list of players who would improve the most, I'd probably have Russell Wilson up there. I'm not going to put him in the top tiers just yet, but I do think Russell Wilson's going to make a big improvement this year. He's going to prove to be what he was with the Seahawks years ago. Next, we have Max Duggan, not going to play. Some of these guys are just not going to play. Malik Willis. That you're desperate if you start. I'm going to put him right next to Tannehill. You're desperate if you start Malik Willis. Kyler Murray for this season is a flop because he tore his ACL. But in general, he's going to be decent. He's going to be right next to Russell Wilson. Again, if you're in a dynasty league, take Kyler Murray. Buy low on him. But if you're in a one year redraft league, obviously don't take Kyler Murray. Like, that's pretty obvious. But just to put him somewhere in between, I'm going to put him in decent. Anthony Richardson. Now, that's a hot take. Whoop! Put him right there. Anthony Richardson, I think, is going to be electric, even in his rookie season. I don't think he'll be a great passer in his rookie year. But I think that he is going to be so fast, so athletic, so insane, that he is going to have rushing yards regardless. take what Justin Fields did last year. Justin Fields didn't have good receivers. Justin Fields didn't have a good offensive line. Justin Fields struggled throwing the ball at points. He was still able to put up a very good fantasy season because of his legs. Anthony Richardson is a very, very similar athlete to Justin Fields. They're probably the two best athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, three best with Lamar Jackson. And he is going to be able to just get yards and get touchdowns just because of his legs. Shane Steichen, his coach, was the coach of the Eagles when they had Jalen Hurts. He also coached Justin Herbert. He's going to have a good coach. Hopefully that offensive line's better. But I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a high-pick guy. He's going to be a league winner in the years to come, but especially in the rookie season, or also in his rookie season, he'll be worth a high pick. Don't get me wrong. I think Stetson Bennett has some upside. I think there's a world where he starts a good amount of games over Matt Stafford because of injury. And, Sean McVay is obviously one of the best coaches in the league, so that's a little bit of upside there. But the Rams team is not very talented, so I wouldn't put too much stock into him. Trey Lance, I think Trey Lance definitely has a lot of upside. I think that I'm going to put him above Jordan Love because I don't know if he'll start games, but I also know that if he does, he's very, very athletic. He has a good arm. And let's not forget, guys, he was a top 3 pick of the draft. Like, somebody is going to give him a chance. Somebody is going to let him start games. He's really only started a few games in his career, guys. So Trey Lance has some upside. Zach Wilson, I mean, I'll put him like above Gardner Minshew, but that's about it. He's stuck behind Aaron Rodgers for at least the next couple of years. So if you really are a Zach Wilson truther, then stick with it. But if not, go ahead and drop him to waivers. Jameis Winston, flop, unfortunately. Baker Mayfield, you are a desperate, desperate man if you start Baker Mayfield. I'm going to put him right there just because he is going to be the starter in Tampa, I would imagine. I wonder where to put Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put him next to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is younger. Jalen Hurts has more on the ground. But it's Mahomes. I can't argue with that. And then Herbert as well. Herbert's going to throw for a lot of yards. I think he's going to be even better this year in the Kellen Moore offense. And I think they can unlock his legs a little bit. I mean, I'm going to be real. He's a decent athlete. He's a long guy. I think they could run the ball a little bit more with him. Aaron Rodgers is going to be worth a high pick. Yeah, I think he's worth a high pick. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Dak in decent. And I'm going to do Aaron Rodgers worth a high pick. He's got a good situation in New York. He's going to be the chosen one, the savior for that franchise. So he's worth it. Now, the longevity is a question mark. We don't know how long he's going to be in New York. But if you're willing to, take your window for 2 or 3 years, try to go win a fantasy championship, I would go take Aaron Rodgers. Not going to play. Let's just put him there. Jared Goff, he's going to be decent. I'm going to put him below Russ because I don't know if he'll replicate totally what he did last year, but he was good last year. And I think Ben Johnson is a really, really good offensive coordinator. The offense is good. The offensive line is really good. They've got good weapons. Fortunately, Jameson Williams won't be one of them for the first 6 games, but that's whatever. And then let's go on to Kirk Cousins. I kind of see Kirk Cousins in a very similar light to Jared Goff. Marcus Mariota, not going to play. He's going to be behind Jalen Hurts. Desmond Ridder, you are a desperate man if you start Desmond Ridder, but I guess I'll put him above Baker Mayfield. I will say Bijan helps. Kyle Pitts helps. Drake London helps. The offensive line is pretty good for the most part, so he's got a lot of that going for him. He's in a good spot. But I just don't have a lot of faith in Desmond Ridder, unfortunately. And then Derek Carr is going to be decent. I'll put him above Brock Purdy. He's in a good situation in New Orleans. Not a great coach, but some good receivers. So we'll have to see. This is my fantasy quarterback tier list ranking. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video.